Kinda. It's
It's an O
you might as
Pro
well
because
use
it's
it.
an Otis Pro.
It's about the same as an iPhone, but you can walk around a truck stop without it shaking. It's
It's
silly
more stable.
it's a silly thing.
Whatever.
Is Zidane? Is that Brandy's Zidane? Mm-hmm. I was a Kickstarter supporter for that. So
Oh.
I've known Brandy for a
Let's
while.
run into it.
We're not tight, but I've known her for a while.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, and you're about to go to Europe, I saw. I was talking to you.
It's been
Did my job.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's been how I paid the mortgage for like the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Getting on a plane a few times a year.
I want to do that. That is what I want to do.
And this is Lightning in the Morning, and yes, it is Monday, but we always get amped for our Nashville Sunday night.
That's
Every
right.
Sunday out at 3rd and Lindsley, and we've got this week's headliner joining us here in studio, Mr. Otis Gibbs joining us. Welcome, Otis. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate y'all having me.
I was wondering the best way to introduce Otis. I think I'm going to go with what I see posted right here. Otis Gibbs is a songwriter, storyteller, painter, photographer, and planter of 7,176 trees. He once wrestled a bear and lost. He's been called the best unknown songwriter in music today, but if you ask him, well, just what do you call yourself there, Otis?
A folk singer, and I apologize for you reading things from the bio there. I can't be held responsible for any of that.
No,
Oh, AI. What a silly tool. Just kidding.
But no, Otis Gibbs joining us here in studio. Thank you so much for coming in on the morning show.
I appreciate you being here. Did you have a good Halloween?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had heard that we were going to have a lot of trick-or-treaters at our house, and everything's tight and money and all that, so I started buying a lot of cheap candy. Just
Like months ago?
The cheapest crap I could think of. I mean, I'm a pretty cheap individual and frugal and all of that, and I bought that.
Yes.
And then this kids come up on the porch, and I dropped the cheap generic candy into the plastic jack-o'-lantern, and one of the kids looked in there and he's like, "What's this crap?" The other kid looks over and says, "My mom says he's a folk singer. He's doing the best he can." So.
That was the interesting thing. So my friends had, the trick-or-treaters come by, and we had to, DoorDash candy because we didn't have enough. And I kept being like, guys, it's time to put on the mask, start taking candy from these babies. We gotta, start evening it out because it is quite wild. Now, Halloween is a very obviously, you got all the themes, but you have a beautiful black cat named Malcolm.
Yeah, on Halloween 13 years ago, I walked out on our porch in East Nashville, and there was a little black cat there, and he was just staring right at me. And I somehow became a sucker. Actually, when we moved to East Nashville like 20 years ago, I just kind of started feeding birds and anything that would, in all honesty, not to get heavy, but, if you can eliminate the suffering of this creature, it would eliminate my suffering in the process, is the way I looked at it. And he looked at me, and, it's kind of like, my grandpa used to call all cats Malcolm, and I thought that was pretty great. So I did that for a couple decades. So I called him Malcolm like I call all cats, except for he walked right in the house.
Like he was just kind of introducing himself and letting you know all at the same time that I'm going to be, you can stay here too, but I'm going to be staying here from now on.
I mean, he heard I needed a roommate, and he had a lot to offer, and so he came in, and 13 years later, he still sleeps with me, and, he's just great. But I had to stop calling other cats Malcolm because that became his name.
Yeah, right.
So my grandpa's legacy kind of fell behind there a little bit. I have to come up with other forms of Grandpa's legacy.
You're telling the story. Who knows? Maybe somebody else saved a black cat. Black cats. I had one also. Her name was Katie because she only answered by Kitty, and my parents were like, "We're not calling your cat Kitty," which whatever. But it was a thing we had to keep her inside because of people stealing black cats or being mean to black cats.
Yeah.
So the fact that you she found you or he found you is pretty magical on that night.
A few weeks later, his brother showed up, and that was Daryl.
Daryl?
So Daryl lived with us for, many, many years, and he passed away a couple years ago, sadly. But they have these little white speckles on their backs, so we called them Speckleback Panthers of East Nashville. And if you drive,
right?
if you drive down Gallatin, there's a building close to Douglas where somebody put up a big mural of a cat, and I swear it's the exact cats. I think there's more roaming around in the same family, and people know it.
They're just little magical spirit cats. Just this white speckled back cat.
And they all want to be my roommates.
Otis Gibbs joining us here in studio again. He's going to be headlining our Nashville Sunday night. I do have to ask though, Otis, with how did the whole candy situation work out? Did you end up giving all of it away? Did you have any left over? I actually, is it still in here? Yeah, that's. I kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
I bought the Reese's peanut butter cups like a month ago, and I even mentioned to Lisa on the show last week. It's like I'm not sure there's going to be enough by the time the trick or treaters arrive, so I did buy one bag and put that in the bowl just for the trick or treaters, along with some lollipops. I was kind of proud that I actually got close. I did have a little left over, but if you remember, Lisa, last year I had like over a pound left over.
Yeah.
So it was like you always try to make sure you're in that sweet spot, so to speak. So how did it go for you?
It went good. We gave out everything, and I have a lot of karma I have to make up for with the trick-or-treating. Years and years ago, in Indiana, I was living in this apartment. I think we had 10 musicians living in a 2-bedroom apartment that we did for a couple of years. Wow. I lived that way just to try to get things rolling as a musician. Had many years like that. They were some of the best years of my life, honestly. But I just forgot it was Halloween, and a bunch of kids came to the door. There were about 6 of them, and I'm like, oh gosh. I run in the kitchen, and I'm looking for something to give them. There's a lot of old pizza boxes stacked up on the counter, and I start reaching in, and I pulled out the pizza bones, like the crust, and I kind of broke them up.
Bones.
And the audience can't see this, but I did some kind of magician sleight of hand, and had them in my hand and dropped them in the bag without them being able to see what they were. And they would feel something hit the thing and say thank you and walk off. And I lost a girlfriend over that night.
Oh my Lanta.
But I escaped and got out of it. So these years I have a lot to make up for from my younger years.
I just had a fun thought because we did get so much candy, and I'm thinking that's a lot of candy. Mm-hmm. I would like to next year have all my friends just dress up as scary dentists and hit up like Oral-B and be like, hey, how much can you just give us and we'll be the Oral-B house? It'd be like, oh, go to that one, guys. They got toothbrushes and dental floss.
You never know. You never know.
Or free trips to Europe so they can go see Otis Gibbs.
Free trips to Europe.
I'm just kidding.
That came out.
That would be fun.
Out of nowhere, because I was going to say, if you do that, some of those kids might just end up
give us your candy, and we'll
yeah, you might have some decorations the following morning. That happened to us a couple of times. But we've got Otis Gibbs here in studio. You don't really have to cross the pond to see Otis. You can see him this Sunday night as part of Nashville Sunday Night. He'll be taking the stage at 8 o'clock. Out at 3rd and Lindsley. So you've relatively recently, recorded a new album.
Yes.
And I was reading a little bit about the studio that you use, because not a lot of folks can use it anymore. In fact, I don't know if many at all can.
Yeah.
You must know some people.
Well,
that can open doors, huh?
Well, I don't want to brag or anything, but no, I just was going to make a record. And my buddy Tom Utes, who I've recorded with for a while, is a great musician, just amazingly talented guy. And we were talking about where can we record. It's a big open room. We can all stand together. We can bleed into each other's instruments like people used to do.
Capture it live.
Yeah, I'll sing, and the drum mics will pick up my voice, and I will have to live with whatever I did in that moment. Yeah. And we will gain something from that. And we're like, that's how people used to record. And started asking around, and Tom was the one that had the connections, and we got permission to use Columbia Studio A. It's where Bob Dylan did Blonde on Blonde, and Nashville Skyline. It's where Leonard Cohen did songs from A Room, songs Love and Hate. There's a bunch of classic recordings that were made there. And like, yeah, let's. We got permission to do that, so we went and recorded there, and I filmed the whole thing, which I'm like releasing some things out on YouTube as we speak. I have a YouTube channel, Otis Gibbs, if you want to look that up. But there's it was beautiful, just to be part of the history of that room. It's been closed to the public for decades, and it's used for education. And they were nice enough to let me do it, and it's beautiful because the reverb chambers in there are the same ones. So we're like, this is part of the imprint of this. This is part of the legacy, just the sound of the reverb in these chambers. Let's put it all over this record, like they used to do. And so we just got to be part of the history of that room.
Yeah, sonically, that must have been incredible. I mean, and now everyone gets to listen to it if you go purchase it.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Well, it's so cool. And what made me wonder, too, knowing that it hasn't really been used for that purpose in so long, did you have to, bring in your own gear to do it? Like, you have to roll in 2-inch tape?
No, they have, a lot of the old microphones. They actually have a lot of the microphones from RCA.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So we're singing and playing into 80-year-old microphones, and it looks old when you're in there, but they everything's been the same forever, and they've preserved a lot of it. And there's just a lot of talented people that help put it together. And I'm just the guy that kind of gets to stand around and make these noises and sing
And
these.
say that's good enough, or nope, let's do it again.
I mean, they must enjoy your music enough to allow you such an incredible experience.
I've learned something in the last year. I'm a Midwesterner, from Indiana.
Yeah.
And I've kind of learned that Midwesterners have this inability to just simply accept a compliment. And a lot of my Southern friends started pointing that out to me, where Southerners are much better at, well, thank you. That's very gracious of you. Instead, somebody says something nice to me, and I'm like, well, I hope it didn't ruin your life, or I'm sorry for whatever it did to you. I'm a Midwesterner. We're supposed to be humble people. And
I can kind of relate to that, being from Illinois myself, Central Illinois.
my people.
A little bit like that. I can relate. We've got Otis Gibbs here in studio. So the new album, 10th album, The Trust of Crows, that's out now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can pick that up. We've actually got a song queued up right now called East Side.
Yeah.
Let's play that for our listeners. You want to tell us a little bit about this song, maybe where it started writing or what the recording process was like?
Well, a story that I think that leads into that really well is we moved into East Nashville 20 years ago. So our first day, the day after we moved in, my buddy Chuck Mead called me up. And Chuck's great. If you don't know about Chuck, you should find out about him. He's in BR 549. And he's like, Otis, there's a party going on tonight that you probably ought to know about. I'm like, cool. So I show up, and it's in East Nashville, and there's a band set up on the porch facing the yard, and there's about 20 lawn chairs with people sitting in that facing the porch. And I walk up, and Cowboy Jack Clement is leading the band. And W.S. Holland, the only drummer that ever played with Johnny Cash, the drummer that played on Carl Perkins' Blue Suede Shoes. He actually he learned how to play drums that week so he could play on that recording that we've heard all our life. They're on the porch. Chuck Mead's in the band. Tim Carroll, another Hoosier, is in the band. And we're watching this, and Cowboy Jack would tell a story about producing John Prine, working at Sun Records, just all of these great stories, and then play a song. W.S. Holland would tell a story about going into the San Quentin prison or Folsom prison with Johnny Cash.
Right.
All this stuff, and they'd play a song. I'm just blown away. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. And Peter Cooper was another person in the band. And when they were done, he walked out. He recognized me. This is the first time I ever met him. And he says, Otis, man, it would be great if you want to get up and play a song. And I jokingly said, because I'm a Midwesterner, I said, it seems like a really bad career move to follow what I just witnessed there. And he looked at me really, he looked at me really serious, and he said, Otis, we're in East Nashville. You're all out of career moves now. But if you don't know, Peter Cooper wrote for the Tennessean,
Yeah.
and he was worked at the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I knew him because he was the crazy guy in these Todd Snyder videos they were uploading to YouTube that I would sit, in Indianapolis and watch. I want to be part of this world. And that's part of why I moved there or moved here. And and then I later became dear friends with Peter and Todd Snyder and all of that. But I don't. This song is not about that, but it definitely. I was thinking about all of that when I wrote it, so I hope that's a good lead in.
The essence of it, I love that. Beautiful.
Let's give it a listen. This is Otis Gibbs from the new album. Song is called East Side on Lightning in the Morning.
I love that context now. That's why we bring you in. We want the story.
You're
Appreciate it.
You're understanding. In East Nashville. And that's part. I can't believe we have 100,000 subscribers.
Lightning 100. That song's called East Side. It's from Otis Gibbs and the new album, The Trust of Crows, which is available now. And we get to see and hear Otis on Sunday out at 3rd and Lindsley. He'll take the stage at 8 o'clock, headlining Lightning 100's Nashville Sunday night. And we are having so much fun having Otis join us here in studio this morning. It's and I'm it's kind of a bummer for us because we only have 10 minutes left in the show, but we can hang out for the next couple of hours.
All right. Well, okay, so we've got this new album, obviously. I also briefly said this to you off air, but 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube.
120, actually.
Oh, my Lanta.
120,000.
That's awesome. Like, I can't. Do you whoa?
It's just kind of humbling. I'm a Midwesterner. It's kind of hard to. I feel like I should delete the whole thing or something sometimes, but I'm joking there. But I just started years ago. I really dig the punk rock thing of be your own media. Mm-hmm. And years ago, I kind of thought, what's my version of that? And I thought, okay, I'll start a podcast. I was really lucky that I got in really early. I was the first person in the roots music space to do that. And there's no money in it at all. There was none. I didn't even think about that. I thought this is a great way to just get the word out. It's called Thanks for Giving a Damn, if people care about that. I just interviewed my friends and had to tell road stories like Ray Wiley Hubbard, Billy Bragg, Ian Hunter, people like that. If you dig any of that stuff, then maybe you dig it. And then Pandora came along and asked me to host a history of country music show.
Wow.
And they treated me really, really well. It was a really positive experience. I did 2 seasons with that. I went fishing with Luke Combs.
No.
I'd never heard of him. I seriously didn't know who he was or whatever, and we're in some pond in Missouri fishing. But he was just a really, really nice guy.
Did you catch any of them?
I'm sorry?
Did you catch any of them?
Well, I will say that if I caught more fish than him, I did not show it because I'm a good host.
Amazing. I mean, you've got a lot of animals in your life, and I was looking at the album, and they're not crows, they're pigeons, but it's really, you've got really great photos of yourself.
Oh, thank you.
And your cat. How did that come about? You just the pigeons, it's a cool shot, and it kind of reminds me of Top in the Back.
Well, this whole album, it's a very long story that I won't make people go through, but they could go to my website and read the story. But when we first moved to East Nashville, I was feeding birds a lot. I would spend a lot of downtime. There's a lot of ugliness in the world that I can't seem to do anything about, where I try really hard, but do what I can, but it doesn't change a lot of times. So to just bring myself down and calm down, I would sit on the back porch with a cat in my lap and feed the birds. And my Amy Lashley, my partner, she would tell me the names of the birds and all this stuff. And it became a really nice part of my life. And then cats would show up, like Malcolm or Daryl. We'd take them in. There'd be possums, raccoons, we'd feed them. And they got to know me. When I'd walk outside, the birds would start chirping, and you could tell they knew I was going to feed them. But there was crows that showed up in the backyard, and they were much more cautious. You could tell they were way smarter. And crows have this thing where if you wrong them, they remember it for generations.
Yeah.
Like the crows that you did it to do not exist anymore, but their offspring will remember that the guy in the hat did something bad. And so it was really hard to earn their trust. And I sat and thought about that. I thought, what a beautiful thing to try to earn the trust of crows, where you can't just show up for the photo op. You have to live it every single day and dedicate yourself to it. And that stuck with me. And I started trying to do that. And as I was thinking about writing one day, I wrote down the trust of crows in my notebook. And I just started using that as a writing prompt, where anything from there, I was like, okay, I'm going to write for the next album, and I'm just going to start writing. So all of the songs from this album came from that one little prompt, the trust of crows. And the picture on the cover that you're talking about, I was in Amsterdam. I was doing a tour over in Europe, and I think I had 3 off days, and I stayed in the hotel room that Chet Baker died in. And I'm kind of a sucker for just finding interesting things on the road. So I spent those off days there, and I went down to feed the pigeons. And I spent about an hour feeding pigeons in the square. And I thought, well, I should probably take pictures of this or something. So I set up a camera, and I took pictures of myself feeding pigeons with no intentions other than, oh, this is fun. Mm-hmm. I went down there every day, and then when I started looking at the photos, I was like, well, that's kind of nice. And so I put the 2 photos, like on the front and the back of the album, were from that day in Amsterdam. Wow. And the pigeons there in the square.
That's
so cool.
Again, you can find on YouTube Otis Gibbs. Go to otisgibbs.com. You can find your way everywhere.
Yeah. I didn't say earlier that so during the pandemic, it killed the Pandora show. And I have a rule where I only interview people in person, so I couldn't interview people for my podcast.
Okay.
And I just kind of thought, man, when I talk to people, they calm down. It's been that way since I was a kid. I was the kid in high school that if someone was gay or whatever, they would come out to me. They would trust me or whatever, and I didn't care one way or the other. But so there's always that person when I talk to people. I thought, okay, in this ugly moment, I'm just going to talk to people. This will be my version of a USO tour, and maybe people will calm down. And it just kind of took off. It was really weird. And when everything was safe when it was safe for everyone to, get in the same room together, I started interviewing the same folks that I just started doing on YouTube what I was doing on the podcast. So that's how that story ended up. And now there's 100 and how many did you say? 120,
dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and some of the, I was just kind of scrolling through some of the titles of these videos. Like there's one where you talk with Jeremy Lynn Woodall, and the subject is Billy Joe Shaver fired me 10 times. See, it's that kind of stuff, which is really cool. You get that, like we refer to it as inside baseball. Kind of that look behind the scenes, behind the curtain for some of these amazing stories.
I should also say that I drove to a small town in Texas to do that from Nashville to interview, and I've tried really hard to build an archive of stories from people that I don't think other people are searching out. Mm-hmm. So that he played guitar with Billy Joe Shaver for years, maybe 20 years. And
apparently had a relationship similar to George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin. Right?
Exactly.
You're hired. You're fired. You're hired again. You're fired again. And just
exactly.
That cycle that seemed to go on for a little while. But you can check, again, you can find your way to all of the content by visiting Otis Gibbs' website, otisgibbs.com. 3rdandlindsley.com is where to get your tickets for our Nashville Sunday night. Otis is going to be our headliner. We've got Tom Jutz opening the show.
Tom Jutz.
Okay, now we know.
Tom wrote a few songs with Billy Strings for his new record. Tom's an extremely talented guy and a dear friend. And I should also say, times are tough. If you guys are out there pinching pennies and you're a fan or whatever, send the email to info@otisgibbs.com, and I'll try to get you in for free if you can. I don't want money to be the reason we don't share things together.
I love that, Otis. And also stay tuned because we always give away tickets to our Nashville Sunday night throughout the week leading up to the show. So
Thank
I'm
you.
sure
Beautiful.
We'll have some of those as well. So another reason to keep it tuned here on Nashville's Independent Radio. But Otis, thank you again so much for being here. It's wonderful to meet you. And I feel like we've known each other for a lot longer than 30 minutes or so.
We should go hang out on the porch tonight.
Like
Yes.
we can feed the pigeons. And
Beautiful. You guys are great. Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And again, grab your tickets, thirdandlindsley.com for our Nashville Sunday night. Be sure to visit otisgibbs.com for, well, everything happening with Otis. Thank you again for joining us. Otis Gibbs joining us here on Lightning in the Morning.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you,
So
guys.
Otis,
fun.
thank you so much.
That was very nice. Thank you, guys.
Anytime.
I appreciate that.
Super cool. I mean, I like your stories, your art, the fact that cats just walk in your house.
Man, thank you guys for everything. I appreciate
Thank you, man. That was a lot of fun.
I will walk my way out. Take care, y'all.
You come in anytime.
You guys are very good at this, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Otis.
Take care, y'all.